For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Rosa here again with Chessa Boucher. We were in this exact corner as the playoff brackets were being released for the LHSAA high school football playoffs just a few weeks ago. And now they put us back in the corner. I thought we were going to be on the patio today, but I'm good with it. Over at Walk-Ons, getting ready for some state championships starting in Natchitoches on the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. I mean, we made it this far, which is a great start. We had a lot of conversations with those coaches and players, including Carson Bruno from Bird, who's about to join us here in a second before practice. There was a lot of anxiety when the brackets were released of whether we could get this far in the process. And here we are with 9 great matchups awaiting us at Northwestern State. That's exciting right off the bat.
Super exciting. I know a lot of people aren't real happy that we're playing – right after Christmas. They like to get it over with and enjoy Christmas. But to me, it's kind of an extended Christmas. You get all your presents on Friday, and then you get great football starting on Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think that, like you said, 2020 was kind of up in the air. So to get here and get that this far, and then also to be able to play in Natchitoches for the state championship, which is unusual and it hasn't been done before, I think it just kind of is the icing on the cake.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump to Carson. As I mentioned, Bird's getting ready to practice here any couple of minutes. He's kind of joined us before they head out to the field. Bird, we talked about that revenge tour for those guys. They get to the state championship game for the first time since 2013, the first year of the split. Carson, what's going on, man? How are things up in Shreveport?
Things are going good. We're practicing right now. We're getting ready to play this game, biggest game of the year.
How excited are you for this championship game?
I'm so excited. This is every high school player's dream is to play the state championship, and, we're getting a chance to, so can't wait for it.
You guys had seen a lot of these matchups. We talked about the revenge tour. To get to this point, you had some familiarity from a year ago. Now you face Catholic. It's been a while since Catholic and Bird had faced, and certainly before any of you guys were there on the roster. How familiar are you with their program and what they kind of bring to the table, and how much have you had a chance to look at some of the film aspects so far versus how much is still ahead these next couple of days?
We're very familiar now. We've had a week before this, and then we've had all this week to watch film and get familiar with them. So we definitely know what's up now, and we're ready to face them. So it's just a matter of time.
Catholic High has been pretty dominant here in South Louisiana. Is it exciting to face a powerhouse like Catholic?
Oh, absolutely. We want to play the best of the best because we want that state championship to mean, the most it can be. And so we want it to be a great game. We want to play the best of the best, and that's what we're getting. So we're ready for it.
You guys, I think, came into a lot of this year feeling like an underdog because of, or at least viewed as an underdog because of that dynamic we talked about where you guys were in the north half of the state, and a lot of these South Louisiana folks don't talk about you guys as much. Y'all have had some huge wins, had a chance to beat John Curtis to get here. You're the higher seed now. Do you still carry that same sort of underdog-type mentality, or is that kind of out the window now heading into this last one?
Oh, absolutely. That underdog mentality really keeps us going. We love being the underdog, and we are the underdog here. They've been to this the last 5 years. We haven't been since 2013, so we're definitely the underdog here. But we love it, and we're ready to go show what we got.
What is it going to take for you guys to stay undefeated and bring home that banner?
It's going to take these great practices we've been having. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to be a very physical game. We got to have great offense, great defense, great special teams. We got to do everything right, and we're going to come out with the win.
You're the first guest on the show today, and so certainly the first North Louisiana guy. When we were talking about this a few weeks ago, the mindset was that we might be talking about going to the Dome at this time. You guys are playing much closer to home now as one of the 3-1-8 guys. What has it been like to see, the success that so many North Louisiana teams have had this postseason, as well as now to be able to play that state championship game a little bit closer to home up in y'all's neck of the woods?
Yeah, well, everybody, all the high schoolers, everybody wants to play in the Dome. A lot of our guys did too. I wanted to, but honestly, looking at it, playing at Northwestern is a blessing in disguise because it's an hour away, so we're going to bring out a lot more fans. It's less travel for us. We get to wake up in our own beds and then have a great game day morning. So it's really a blessing. We're excited for it.
You guys are going to face Catholic in the state championship, and Daniel Beal is a freshman. He doesn't play like a freshman, though. Is it kind of, I don't want to say exciting, but, it'd be easier to rattle a freshman as opposed to a junior or senior that's out there leading that team?
Yeah, experience is a big aspect of the game. Having experience is a great thing, and him not having that, I mean, yeah, the big crowd, the pressure of the game, it is going to be a factor, and hopefully we can apply the pressure with our fans and everything, and just the way we play. So hopefully so.
I haven't had a chance to talk to you in this interview sort of scenario since that Curtis game. So I want you to take me through a play at a critical point in that game. Curtis tries to throw a pass, and you jump up and snatch that thing out the air and start heading back the other way. And you're already smiling as soon as I talk about it. What was going through your head as that play is happening, and how excited have you been with not only your play, but the play of that defensive front that you guys have been able to have some success, obviously, to get this far and feel well matched up against a good Catholic front?
Yeah, that play, I came off the ball. It was 4th down, so I knew we had to get pressure. So I kind of got upfield, and then once I realized it was screen, it was too late to retrace my steps. So I just had to keep going, and I saw his arm cocked back, and I just jumped up and got it. And that was that. But then, our defensive front, especially in that John Curtis game, we knew we were going to have to come up big because they run the veer, and everything was based off us and how we played. And we had a really good game, so that's how we stopped them. And then against Catholic, same thing. We're going to have to do our job, and everybody does their job, we win.
Catholic has a lot of offensive weapons. How are y'all preparing for, a few weeks ago we saw somebody else throwing touchdowns who typically doesn't throw touchdowns for the Bears. How are y'all preparing for all of the options that they have?
Well, that's all up to our coaches. We have a great coaching staff here, some of the best coaches around the state here, and they've done all the hard work of getting our game plan together, and they did that, and now they're putting it on us to go out there and play. So our coaches, man, that's what they did it for us.
And I want to ask you one more on that topic before we let you get the pads on and get out to the field. But Coach Suggs, longtime coach up there, obviously a Bird. I saw this season became the highest win total for one coach in the Shreveport Bossier area at one school. What has it been like for you throughout your high school career to be able to play for someone of Coach Suggs' caliber as a coach and have that level of consistency and tradition that he brings to that program year in and year out? And how excited are you to now have that state championship opportunity under him to go out for your senior year?
We really this whole year we've been doing this for ourselves and all the city and everybody. But when it comes down to it, we're really doing it for Suggs also. This is a big year for him. We're 10-0 right now. We've gotten him these wins. But it's for him too, because he's gotten us here. We bought into what he was saying, and he really does have a great game plan, and he knows he's very football smart. He knows what he's doing. So we just trusted him. We've done what he's asked, and he's gotten us here. So now everything's for him. We're trying to get him the state championship, bring it home to the city, and for him.
Sounds good to me, man. And again, appreciate you taking a few minutes before you guys head out to practice, and good luck with these last couple of practices, and looking forward to seeing you guys up in Natchitoches. We'll both be up there.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
God, thanks, Carson.
Thank you.
Bye.
Again, that's Carson Bruno, who joined us at the beginning of the playoffs, a Louisiana Tech commitment, now Louisiana Tech signee on that defensive front for Bird, which is a program that you obviously know a little bit about, and we're excited to chat with him a few weeks ago. That should be a heck of a matchup between those two teams. Weirdly early in the week for a Division I game, just because of them trying to space things out for the crowds with COVID.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised going into it that it was on Sunday that they, are going to go head to head. But I mean, what better way to kind of, finish out day one than to see that matchup? I'm excited to see kind of, it's more like a chess game because Bird likes to have the ball, kind of control the possession and the clock. And so I want to see kind of how they kind of move up and down the field methodically, as opposed to Catholic, who kind of has all kind of stuff up their sleeves. You never know what's going to happen with Gabe Fertitta. So I'm really excited about this matchup and kind of just how the Bears come out. I know the Bears won the state championship their freshman year with Gabe, and now they're trying to go out as seniors with a championship. So I'm just kind of looking forward to how this one kind of plays out, and I wouldn't be surprised if it came down to the last play, to be perfectly honest.
And I think a lot of folks, the last time Bird was in a state championship game, I mentioned that 2013 game against a loaded Rummel team. People, I don't think, expected that game to be as close as it was, and Rummel had to really survive to take that 23-22 victory against those Yellow Jackets home, a really talented Bird bunch that, similar to this year, I think they just get overlooked a little bit, particularly down here, because they are that lone Division I team from the other half of the state. And everyone's so used to the Catholic League and now Catholic High making its fourth straight. But I think it does have the potential to be a lot of fun. And you mentioned not knowing what Gabe Fertitta and company have up their sleeves. They want to go fast, certainly. They make it really difficult for me to keep up tweeting videos on my phone any given Friday. And so you know to expect that. But you mentioned Landon O'Connor had the injury to his ankle at the end of the regular season. Daniel Beal comes in, and they were able to do some things to help him with George Hart taking over some quarterback duties and switching some things up and going really run heavy there. But it seems like baby Beal has really grown up over these last few weeks too.
Yeah, I actually interviewed Gabe yesterday for a little bit of a preview for the Sunday matchup. And I asked him, going into this game, how do you prepare, and is this the first time ever you've had a freshman, back there in a state championship game? And he said, yes, absolutely. But they don't look at it that way because he's had enough reps. He's had enough experience this year that he's been battle tested, that they don't look at him as a freshman. And he's got so much poise. I've never seen a freshman just be so poised in the pocket. And if, there is a mistake or something happens, it doesn't really phase him. So that's promising, especially, again, being a freshman for the Bears. I asked Coach, of course, about Landon, how he was doing. He said they played him a little bit in the, 2 weeks ago in that game, and he wasn't 100%. And so I asked him, is he going to get playing time? And he said, to be perfectly honest, and he's like, I don't mean to give you this coach talk, but it's a game time decision. So we'll see. Definitely Landon and Beal are so different quarterback styles. Landon is run heavy and he does everything well on the ground. And then Beal is more of a pocket passer and he can sling the ball. Landon can sling the ball as well, but I think Beal is a little bit more accurate. So we'll see kind of that matchup and what happens. And I even asked him about George Hart. You guys don't even blink an eye when he's throwing touchdowns, and then everybody else who isn't familiar with him, they kind of are in disbelief that he's out there throwing bombs. And he said, we're going to be prepared for everything and kind of throw everything at Bird. But the biggest takeaway facing the Yellow Jackets was time of possession and just kind of how they are going to pound the ball at us. But I mean, they've faced other run heavy teams, so it's not anything new.
Coach Stephen Fitchie from Watchdog Christian trying to get the technical side of this figured out and hop in and join us to talk about that Division IV state championship here momentarily. And so just giving him a couple minutes. But you're right. I mean, we hear this a lot at LSU. But Catholic has not blinked no matter what happens. They played a ridiculous schedule.
Yep.
They have had to make schedule adjustments on the fly and suddenly prepare for some of the other top teams in the state on a 2-day work week, essentially. Beal gets thrown in unexpectedly in that Acadiana game when Landon goes out, and I thought showed a lot of poise in that game. It's certainly not going to be the prettiest game of his career, but he made enough big plays and just kind of heady plays at moments to give them that chance to then throw the touchdown pass late. And to see the performance of guys like him, Shelton Sampson coming back from the groin injury throughout this playoff, and see where they were in that Brother Martin game that you mentioned a couple weeks ago in New Orleans, I think is pretty scary for anybody that has to line up on the other side. But at the same time, we've heard from Carson now a couple times. Bird's not afraid of anybody.
No, not at all. And I would be shocked if there ever was fear in Bird, just because being from North Louisiana, Bird was always pretty steady, not necessarily dominant like a Catholic or Zachary down here in South Louisiana, but they were always steady. and always a hard matchup, whatever year you face them. And so I wouldn't be surprised if it's just kind of a blow for blow kind of game.
And we do have Coach Fitzhugh now. Bring him into the stream, as we mentioned, getting ready for what I think is potentially one of the most fun matchups that we're looking forward to up in Natchitoches this week, the Division IV matchup between OCS, the reigning champions, and Calvary Baptist, a rematch of an earlier playoff matchup a year ago that the Eagles won 49-47, but one of the thrillers of that Division IV bracket. And now we get them here, two of the top seeds playing for a state championship in Natchitoches. Coach, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, doing great. How are y'all doing today?
Good.
Good. What's
Good.
Usually I'm talking to you about the excitement of practicing Thanksgiving week means you're in a quarterfinal. You guys are practicing Christmas week, getting ready for a state championship up in the north half of the state. What's that been like just compared to the normal rhythm of a typical playoff run?
Well, I tell you, it's been great. We, it's like I told the guys, I said, we have practiced on Thanksgiving break before, but there's never been a team at OCS practice on Christmas break before. And so it's been great and a lot of excitement. And, we had practice this morning early on. And that way, after that, if anybody wants to head out of town for the next couple of days, they can do so. And we'll get back together and practice on a Saturday, which I can't say we've ever done that before. So, but again, everybody's glad to be doing that right now.
This season, everybody's had to adjust. Is it just kind of that mentality, knowing that, this championship game that was supposed to be in the Dome and now it's in Natchitoches, and just trying to adjust and get ready for that?
It is, and it has been a year of adjustments, and it's learning to be flexible. And again, I think everybody everywhere has had to do that and do things a little bit different. And so again, we were just glad to be playing football, because I know back in August there was that uncertainty. We were seeing other states canceling and things such as that. So our guys, we talked about from the get-go, enjoy every day of practice, and however many games we get to play, enjoy them all. And our guys have done that. They have really enjoyed being out there and just being around each other. So it's a year of adjustments. And again, we understand the situation with the Superdome and playing in Natchitoches. And again, everybody's just excited to still be playing.
You guys were the select school that made that push last year that you wanted to play in Dome, and you talked a lot afterward about the significance of that and how special it is to have that opportunity. Now that we see the way this year has gone, looking back and realizing that you made that push and things fell into place and you were able to go play and win in the Dome, how much does that mean, knowing that the Dome isn't an option this year, and how much, you kind of alluded to it there, are you looking forward to now kind of a new thing and being able to win a state championship on a new field to add to what you did a year ago?
Well, it is. Again, that was just a special and God's blessings last year that we were able to play in the Superdome. I mean, that's a dream. That's a dream. And so, hopefully, again, after this year, it will be a scenario. I know LHSAA had said it this year that every team was going to play in the Dome, which, again, for the schools that have never had that opportunity, it's an experience that unites your school like no other. And so, again, this year, everybody's in the same boat by having to travel and play at Natchitoches. And, again, I feel like the weather's going to be pretty good for it being in December. We're not going to be in below freezing temperatures. And so that's a great blessing there in itself. And again, hopefully next year we can try to get all teams back in the Superdome and have that great experience again.
What would it mean for you and this senior class to win it back-to-back years?
That would be special. And as I told them, in 45 years of OCS football, that's only happened one time. And so they have an opportunity to do something that again, is a rare feat, and it would be special. This group, again, they are, especially our seniors. They're guys that they love being around each other. They love competing and just having fun playing the game. Practice is fun every single day. Our guys enjoy it. And so, again, that's a special group. And just their attitude is phenomenal to be around each and every day. Excited about that.
I mentioned that this game is a rematch of a game a year ago that was a heck of a shootout to allow you guys to advance.
Yeah, I lost your sound there.
Can you hear me, Coach? Coach, this was a rematch of a very close game last
Jared, I can
postseason.
see you're talking, but I set my alarm and it just.
I think.
Let me see.
Yeah,
I'm still.
Coach might have
I
lost.
heard you until that alarm went off, and I'm not hearing you now.
The joys of live internet streaming. We're going to have to catch Coach Fitzhugh a little bit more later, but certainly good luck to those Eagles as they get ready for that state championship matchup against Calvary. Coach still can't hear us. We'll go ahead and switch gears to the Class 1A matchup there, where Grand Lake has made this phenomenal run to a state championship game, first state championship game in program history. And Jeff Wainwright and company, coach is going to join us now, pulling off some tremendous victories to get this far. And now what's waiting them is the reigning champion and top seeded Oak Grove Tigers. Heck of a prize. Coach, how's it feel to be playing for a state championship, and what's the early outlook as you guys have started to prep for this next one, this really big one, obviously?
Yeah, well, first off, thank y'all for inviting us on the show, and it's been fun. Hope we can continue our journey this week. So far, we've had no setbacks. One of the things that we kind of always talk about is your health determines your destiny in single A, and we've been healthy. We got after it this morning at practice, real physical practice. I don't think there's a way to walk into an Oak Grove game and not have physical practices with their run game, things that they're doing. And, I told the coaches, I just was happy we walked off the field healthy after the way the guys went after each other today. And, that's the things that Oak Grove brings to the table is they run the ball so well that, we haven't seen a run game that strong all year. Then they have the speed to hit you on the outside with different things that, just makes it important to play good team defense the entire time. So you can definitely see why they have such a tremendous program. The coaches do a great job teaching the fundamentals, and their offenses and defenses are complete and sound. And, it's good to play against teams like that, too, because it brings out the best in you as a competitor.
Coach, your first championship appearance, how do you keep your team and their emotions in check?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. We can sit here and talk about all the things that we think or we're going to anticipate, but until you get out there as a competitor on the big stage, you don't really know how your team's going to react. I'm kind of, I'm glad it's outside really for our first time. I can't imagine walking into the Dome with this young of team and all the circumstances that are surrounding my team. It's really in our favor to be outside, tell you the truth. Oak Grove has been to the championship game. Now, if it was equal and we weren't playing someone that's familiar with the championship environment, I'd say, hey, the environment wouldn't impact us. But our team, it's going to be special. And we're going to try to do the things that we do good that got us to this point, and nothing more than that.
You mentioned just some of the circumstances through this year. Obviously, everyone's dealt with the COVID uncertainty. You guys out in Southwest Louisiana had been hit by the storms, and there was a lot to deal with there. To be able to have this season for these guys and to be able to have this run, how special has that been to have these games, and let alone to have that level of success? And how exciting has that been for those kids, their families, the community, everybody?
Well, coming out of the summer, all of us just wanted to, everybody, the entire nation, hey, let's try to find a way to play football. SEC's about to crumble. The Pac-10's crumbling. All these things are crumbling. The NFL doesn't know if they're going to get started. So you're sitting there thinking in Grand Lake, well, if these people are having trouble getting going, I'm sure Louisiana high school football is going to be tough on small schools and things like that. So then fast forward, we get to hurricanes, and man, that was rough. And our basic idea, we had a parent meeting right after the hurricanes, a couple weeks when everybody got grounded and was able to get back to the school. And the LHSAA had set a date of October the 9th of being able to play, and that's what they were going to shoot for. We showed up to our cafeteria, and our parents showed up, and it was probably one of the most emotional meetings I've ever had with a community or as an educator with a group, because the majority of the people in the room were homeless, myself included. And at that time, we were just like, do you want to play? Do you want to play? And we just kind of raised our hand. Hey, I can coach. That coach is going to be a little bit more busy than this coach. And said, hey, let's find us a way to get this done. And the parents just asked that we set a time standard, for practice, certain days of the week, a certain time, and they would let them come to practice. And there was a lot of days where, guys were still helping grandpa or helping the neighbor and things like that. A lot of shakeups of who was going to be at practice, but we just kind of kept building. And it started out being, hey, let's put a good product on the field for your parents that are sacrificing or just completely broken right now. And then it turned into, hey, we got a decent football team. And, one thing led to another. And then last week it was like, there's no Christmas lights in Grand Lake right now. Everything's just wiped out. I said, what would be nice to put under that tree would be a berth at a state championship for all of our community to have a nice present and something to talk about. That present that you don't know what's in that box after you get it. It's there and it's in the room and they can talk about it and have a great holiday. And it's kind of like, the ball team has each week risen to the community's need of a distraction. And this week with Christmas coming along, there's a lot of pride on our road in Grand Lake. And those houses normally have beautiful lights and great decorations in the yards and stuff like that. And now it's just a lot of them, the house is pushed into the ditch. It's a concrete slab. And so for our kids to be able to do that for our community has really been special. And it's taken a tremendous effort from the parents, the administration, the school, everyone to get us to this point. This was never our intention of playing Oak Grove for the state championship. It was, let's put a team on the field for our parents. And it just kind of risen from there.
You touched on it a lot there, the adversity that you guys have faced. Do you feel like that's just made you guys stronger in the end for the season?
Yeah, when you look at all the X's and O's factors of the Oak Grove team, it just says, hey, this is just another part of the next week. This team, actually our hardest week up until this point has been getting ready for Basile when Hurricane Delta hit. After, we're almost getting things settled down. I think the electricity at the school got turned on 3 days before Delta hit. And bam, we're back to ground zero. And we did some phone calls and stuff and got our team back on Wednesday afternoon to practice. And we played on that Saturday. And we were emotionally drained at that time. We were on rock bottom emotionally. The game was a big lift. We won in the last couple seconds. And we actually went for two with no time on the clock. And it probably should have kicked the ball to tie it and go into overtime. But I was so tired. I told the guys, I said, look, it's time to go home. Sometimes the party needs to end. And this is it. So the good Lord put the ball on the 3-yard line. We ought to thank him for putting it there and a chance to win. Thank you. Let's go make a play. And so that was kind of how, and then after Basile, we started rebounding and getting a lot better, week to week. And now we got a pretty solid football team.
Coach, I know we're all looking forward to seeing that pretty solid football team up in Natchitoches in just a few days. Congratulations on getting this far and setting some school history already. And can't wait to see you guys up in Northwestern State.
I appreciate y'all spending the time doing this for everybody too. Thank y'all.
You got it. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay. Talk to you later.
See you later. Another guy like Carson Bruno that joined us for the playoff bracket release show, Destin Refuge, with those Edna Carr Cougars back in a state championship again. They've won 4 straight, which only a handful of teams have done in LHSAA history, and they're trying to become one of just 2 to win a 5th straight. Destin, what's this run been like as a senior now? You've been a part of some others, obviously, as an underclassman, but now you're one of the leaders of the pack, and you're back playing for another one.
It's been very exciting, just to have this last opportunity, just to play on side of my brothers and just to compete, with this being my senior year, I'm gonna miss them a lot. So it's been exciting for my last year.
How much would
you
oh,
can
go ahead.
tell that as soon as Destin starts talking that New Orleans has entered the chat. We've been talking to all these North Louisiana guys and now Coach Wainwright from Southwest Louisiana, but Destin drops the NOLA accent right away.
Right. Yep. Yep.
I love it. So, what would it mean to you to add that fourth ring to your hand and go out on top?
It'll mean a lot. I say it'll mean a lot because I said all the other rings, that was that senior class. For this being my senior class this year, I have no choice but to get that last ring because it's mine. This is my senior class. So this ring right here, it means a lot to me because this is my class and that's what I want to go out with.
How much do you guys talk about that sort of dynamic, the way that you just shared that perspective? I wanted to ask you a little bit about, to have that level of success in a way that very few schools ever have. How does Coach Brown manage that with y'all and keep y'all hungry year in and year out, knowing that you've established yourselves as state champion and repeat state champion and three-peat and so on? How do you guys have those discussions about the necessity of adding another one and not ever letting up?
It's just the expectations that the following class before us had set. The seniors that's before me, they set the expectations, the bar higher, and we just had no choice but to reach them. You know, it's just passing down the torch. You know, year in and year out, it's a new class, but it's the same expectations. So we just gotta live up to that, and it's gonna be the same for the next class. You know, under me.
You guys have been extremely successful in the Dome, and now your senior season, y'all will play in Natchitoches at Northwestern State. Is it kind of almost like a challenge of, we've done so well there, we got to show them what we're made of here as well?
I say it wouldn't be a challenge, but I say towards ourselves, it's a little bit of facing adversity. You know, not being in a dome like like usual, not being in a Superdome, being somewhat different, but you know, we just treating it like we still is in the Superdome. You know, we just having the same mindset. You know, just having the same mindset.
You guys face the top-seeded Karen Crow Bears, and they've been putting up points at a ridiculous pace. I think they've outscored their opponents. I know I have the number written down. 172-28 in 3 playoff games. They hung 81 against Plaquemine in the quarters, and I joked with them about how ridiculous it is to go Kobe on a high school football field. But as you guys as a defense prepare for the challenges that they bring with that fantastic rushing attack and so many different guys in that backfield, what has been kind of the early preparation like? How does that challenge kind of present itself for you guys to slow down?
I see in the trenches up front, just dominating. You know, just being more physical and just learning the game plan faster and just preparation. You know, like I always say, we win a game throughout the week. We win a game Monday through Friday, or Monday through next Monday now. But just preparation. You know, keep watching film and just harping on just when adversity strikes, we leaning on each other. Adversity gonna strike, but we gonna overcome it. So we gonna be all right.
How different is it this year playing, we're essentially playing after Christmas? How has that been for you guys as you prepare for the state championship?
I see it's been a little challenging, but I'm just blessed. We get to still have the opportunity to still play. Still have the opportunity to still be in practice right now. Still having the opportunity to just play one more game because I know now other schools had this opportunity. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna use this as my advantage.
We have one of the viewers in the chat saying you're the best DB in the state, and obviously you and I have talked about how much I try and get your name out there as much as possible because you've been such a fantastic player for that program for so long, and I think remain so undervalued as a recruit going on to the next level. As you complete your car career here in just less than a week now, what do you hope that people remember about your time with the Cougars, whether it be those younger guys that are looking up to you, whether it be the coaching staff or the fans or anybody else in the community, just kind of the stamp that you leave on it as you walk away here after another state championship opportunity?
One main thing I want to say to my underclassmen, like my group, just Mike, Ryan, and Rashad. I just want them to feel like when they senior year come or when they get, older, I just want them to feel like they could be better than me. So I try my best to just lead by example and just show them that, just lead by a good path, and make them be, be better than the big general. So, right.
Destin, buddy, appreciate you, man. Go get some more good practices in, some Merry Christmas days here ahead, and look forward to seeing you in Natchitoches.
Appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
Again, that's Destin Refuge from Edna Carr. He mentioned a couple of the younger guys, Michael Richard, Ryan Robinson and company that look up to him in that Carr secondary, that they talk about the program second to none, the school second to none, and that secondary is a really strong one. And we'll transition now from 4A to 3A, where you're going to have a very familiar face in this Baton Rouge area popping up to join us here in Coach Landry Williams from the Madison Prep Chargers.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Fine.
I'll let you go. You talked to him more recently. I know you're ready for the state championship game.
How excited are you, Coach?
I'm very excited, and I'm very excited for myself, the coaching staff, the kids, and also the community. We really work hard. We put a lot of work in, and so the guys are excited to be here. They feel they earned the right to be here, and they're all excited.
You guys reached the state championship as a 9 seed. You had some tough matchups along the way. Had to go out to Church Point and win that really tight semifinal game. What has this run been like for you guys, and what sort of message have you had for your guys throughout that process to realize that number in front of the name really doesn't mean anything come this time? What have those conversations been like between you, the staff, and the kids?
Well, that's the way we address any opponent. We don't look at the rankings and all of that, because we've been on that side of the coin. A lot of people underestimate us a couple times or two in the playoffs. They were like, "There's no way y'all can be this good. There's no way." And we came in, they surprised us because they're looking at the number next to the bracket instead of the players and the coaches out there. That's the first thing I look at when I look across the court. Look across the field, and I see some coaches out there. I know they're gonna give me their all. Yeah, I got to get ready. I don't look at the ranking and all that. It's just like their work ethic, their tradition, and things of that nature comes into play. So I don't look at the numbers and stuff like that. I don't teach my kids to look at it.
You guys lost to Union Parish in the quarterfinals last season. Is this going to be kind of like a revenge tour, or are you guys just ready to go?
I'm not going to say revenge tour, but it's definitely something that's been on our minds for a very long time. So, they're an awesome team. They work real hard. They're good at what they do. They're great at what they do. So it's just important of us to, come together as one, work real hard, be there for each other. And as coaches, put our guys in the best position to be successful.
One of those guys on the other sideline for this one, a guy that you guys would have seen last year as a freshman, and now he's had one of the more ridiculous seasons that you could ask for from a sophomore. Trey Holly, the running back up there, that's now over 2,600 yards in this weird shortened season. What do you remember about that guy and that rushing attack that the Farmers bring to any matchup? And as you prepare now for them, what's kind of the mindset and the need, in terms of motivating your guys or schematically how to potentially slow it down, whatever you can share with us about how you have to approach a rushing attack that prolific and a guy that prolific like Trey Holly?
Trey really grew up from his last year. He's definitely, bigger, stronger, faster. And they have a great weight room program up there, obviously, because those guys look great. But they fundamentally sound up front, back flat. They get into the next level. So it's very important for us not to let those guys, get any rhythm and being able to drive up to our linebackers. Because if they do that with the running back and trade capability, he's gonna make it a tough night for us. So it's gonna be important that we make good contact at the line of scrimmage. With linebackers, definitely have to come to tackle because he really makes you play real hard and real aggressive. So we have our work cut out for us. I respect him in this program a lot. So it's just all about us as a team coming together and doing our part. Because there's no way we can single one guy out that's going to, put the stop on their running back. But we've been pretty good at stopping the run the last couple of weeks. We had a lot of practice, a little bit too much practice I envisioned. But yeah, we here. The guys are excited. We have a pretty good stubborn defense as well. When we want to, we can be real stingy. So it's going to be a game. I just sure hope that the weather holds up and we're able to, you grew up saying the whole time when I get on the carpet, I get to the dome. All right, well, the dome is not here. But it doesn't matter. I mean, the guys are excited because it was a chance that we not even had a season this year. So we blessed at the opportunity that we have here in front of us. We're definitely not going to take it for anything for granted. And we're just going to go out there and let him play loose and have fun and just enjoy the moment.
Coach, 2016, you guys were runner-up. What would it mean for you and your program to put up a championship banner in 3A this year?
That would be awesome. I joke around with my athletic director. He have like 6 championship banners hanging in the gym, and I'm like, man, can I just get one next to you? But I mean, it'll mean a lot to me myself because that's something that I played a lot of tough coaches in my years. The Bob Howells and all those guys. So it'd just be good if we can go out, and able to win the championship for our community and for the school.
Coach, appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat about it. I know we're both certainly looking forward to seeing you up there in Natchitoches with the Chargers against Union Parish in a few days.
Hey, I'm excited to be there. You know what I'm saying? We really work hard. I just can't tell you how hard we work and the energy that goes into this. But I definitely don't take it for granted, man. I love what I do. I love my coaching staff. I love the kids every day. I look forward to seeing those guys. I said my job don't start till 3 o'clock, guys. I'm be looking forward to you guys. It's fun. It's really exciting, and I hope we're able to put up a performance that a lot of you guys remember for years to come.
Good deal. Good
Absolutely.
luck with it, Coach. Appreciate you.
Yeah, best of luck.
Thank you.
Bye, Coach.
All right, bye-bye.
That's Coach
He's
Landry
so awesome.
Williams from Madison. Every time we mention him, you talk about the excitement, just the enthusiasm that he brings, and obviously a great example of it there.
Yep.
The Chargers getting back to a state championship for the first time since that heartbreaker against Sterlington a few years back. A guy having a chance to go to his first state championship as the starting quarterback from STM, the reigning Division II champions. Caleb Holstein moves on to college. Going to be up at Louisiana Tech. Walker Howard, the LSU commit, takes the reins as a junior this year and has the Cougars right there, back there playing for another state championship. Walker, what's going on, man? How has it been to have this sort of a run at your first year at the helm of that offense?
It's been a great season. It's been awesome. I got a great team, and hey, we're ready to play Monday. That's for sure.
How do you keep those emotions in check, especially just for the pure excitement of the start of this season? We didn't even know if there would be high school football, and now you're back playing in a state championship again.
I've been waiting 2 years. It's been a long journey for me, and I'm so excited. Just to be able to play football this year made me so happy. It's been a tough year on everybody, and I'm so glad everyone got to play in Louisiana. And hey, we got Monday left, and we got one more game to finish.
You're a junior this year, and so you'll have a chance to come back and put that STM jersey on again next year. But a lot of your close friends, including Jack Besh, who joined us for the bracket release program a couple weeks ago, it's his last go for the Cougars, and you've got some really key seniors along with him in that class. what is the significance to you and some of these other juniors and sophomores that participate for y'all of realizing what that senior class has meant and wanting to make sure that you send them out on that right foot?
Yeah, the seniors are doing a great job this year. All of our sophomores and junior receivers, they look up to our seniors. This is probably one of the best senior class wide receiver group we've ever had at STM. And, these sophomores and juniors, they look up. We got great coaches like Coach Savall and Coach Strother. They do a great job. And we're going to be ready for next year too. Whoever lines up against us, we're going to be ready.
You've had a great season and learned a lot, kind of thrown in the mix there off the bat. How do you take your experience so far this season and try to play even kill and not really try to do too much in this championship game?
I watched what Caleb did. I've watched Caleb the last 2 years. He did an unbelievable job. He was like a brother to me. I watched everything he did. I looked up to him on everything he did, and I just want to thank him. And it's my time now, and I'm excited. And I saw what he did last year, and I'm going to put that into my game this year.
You guys saw De La Salle last year at y'all's place for a state championship and came away with the lopsided victory to bring that state championship to or keep that state championship in Lafayette because you guys were playing at home. And that they have been itching for this opportunity ever since that day. And a lot of those guys were talented juniors last year and are back as senior college prospects this year. What do you expect the energy of that game to be like with two teams that – certainly not a huge level of familiarity. I wouldn't consider you guys rivals necessarily, but they saw you at this point last year and you ended their season and what type of energy that brings to a field on that night of the game.
It's gonna be a great game. They're a great football team. Last year I know they're itching to get back on the field with us, and we got to get on the field and do our thing, and I think we're gonna be all right. But they're a great football team, and it's going to be a battle for Monday night, and I'm excited. That's for sure.
What will it mean to you winning a state championship and you being that starting quarterback this season?
It's crazy because it's been a crazy year altogether, but this is our first year that we've ever gone undefeated going into our state championship game. And, as a quarterback, there's been some great quarterbacks in the past. I mean, really great ones. And, my dad, he got stopped in the semifinals when he was there, but, it's exciting to get past the semifinals. And, Caleb, he did a great job, William Bellamy, and, I'm ready to make my mark into the state championship now.
Everyone that you just mentioned there, including your dad, super competitive football players. For you to have this opportunity in some of those mixes where you guys are kind of ribbing each other, that'd probably be a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We need to get him on the mic during the game.
Walker, man, I appreciate you taking a few minutes in the lead up to this matchup with De La Salle. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing you guys playing another one. You've been so much fun to watch this season, and now having a chance to watch you guys play for a state championship against De La Salle up in Natchitoches is certainly another exciting one to look forward to.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me, y'all. You all have a good one.
Merry Christmas. Send love.
Absolutely. Later.
Yeah, those guys out there have so much fun when you look at the Howards and the Beshes. And I wrote a story whenever Jack committed. And now Jack, since we last talked to him, has had a chance to sign with LSU. Walker will sign next year. And so those opportunities to kind of mess with Dad and say, if they have success again this week, I won a state championship. I think he'd have a lot of fun with that.
Oh, absolutely.
STM's been, and you had a chance to see them when they came to Baton Rouge and played that Catholic team that we've both seen so much of. STM's as good as any team in the state. They came to Baton Rouge that night and won a close one, kind of weathered a storm from Catholic, and were able to come up with the plays late, including the touchdown from Walker to Jack. Again, they're as good as anybody in the state.
Yeah, the game-winning drive was super impressive, just the poise that he had and how he kind of led his team down the field. After the game, I interviewed his coach and kind of just asked him, how it is to have a sophomore quarterback. And he was like, that wasn't a sophomore playing like that. And I couldn't have agreed more just to see his composure and what he brings to the table. That was my first time to see him play. So what he did there was super impressive, especially against a stingy Catholic high defense. And I'm excited to see kind of how he plays in the state championship because, you can be great throughout the season, but when it really counts, really shows a lot. So I want to see kind of how he plays. I don't expect anything but the best for him.
Yeah, he mentioned having to wait his turn behind Caleb Holstein the past couple of years, and everyone knew the potential that he had. You saw that in a lot of camps and different events, and that's why he had an LSU offer before he ever started a varsity game. But you always wonder how some of that transition, there can be some growing pains being thrown out there. And he came into this weird year, weird off season we keep mentioning, and just hit the ground running and has handled everything thrown his way and had a prolific year out there. Coach Hightower does such a great job with that STM program. You mentioned Coach Savoie and some of those guys on that staff that do such a great job of preparing every quarterback they've had through the years. He mentioned Will Bellamy. They had Nate Cox a few years ago, and everyone that takes over ends up really excelling, and he's been no different. And you had a chance to see very early on that level of potential for him to do big things here as well as long-term in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, I really liked the Jack Besh and him, the combo, and you could tell they're just almost like a natural. To me, the way that they play together is almost like a point guard and a shooting guard, just how they feed off of each other. They kind of know where each other, he knows on this route he's going to be there, the timing, everything. Their chemistry is just unmatched. So I'm excited to see kind of their attack there in Natchitoches.
Yeah, you see those childhood backyard games of toss between those two playing out on typically Friday nights or this time around Monday, which it's really weird to be talking about some Monday and Tuesday.
It is. It's so strange.
Wednesday football games, but that's just kind of the way 2020's been. But this opportunity for them to play together at the next level has always been the dream, to be Howard to Besh, throwing touchdowns in Tiger Stadium. They've had a chance to do it in several stadiums around Louisiana so far this year, and would love to go up to Turpin and do it in Natchitoches.
Was it? I can't remember. Was it after the Catholic game? Is that when LSU really went after Besh?
Yes, it was. Jack had been fantastic. Really kind of broke in there as a sophomore, and then junior year had a great year. And going into that spring following his junior year, he started to pick up a lot of college momentum. But everything he put in through the offseason and then starting out the year so hot, it just became more and more difficult for LSU to ignore. And so that Catholic High game, everyone in Baton Rouge is saying, what the heck's going on? Why does this guy not have a Tiger offer? And shortly thereafter he did, and flipped from Vanderbilt to fulfill that lifelong dream.
Yep.
We got Jess Curtis from Manny, who also joined us in the bracket show, the coach up there at Manny, who is trying to get his technical side figured out here and hop in and talk to us now about an opportunity to be back in a state championship game. What's going on, Coach? Good to see you again. We're excited to talk about the brackets as a whole, and now we get to talk about a state championship game.
Hey, man, you're kind of breaking up, but I can kind of make out what you're saying. Yeah, man, excited about the state championship. Seems like we did this a couple years back, man, in New Orleans. It brings back good memories, Jarrett. The interview we had back in New Orleans, and again, we're playing the same foe, and Brett Fuselier and Kinder. I think it's a great matchup for 2A. I think it's a great game to start the Prep Classic off with. I think it's two teams that look a lot alike, and I can't wait for Sunday.
You mentioned having had the opportunity to play in New Orleans, and we talk every year about that's the goal. Manny's trying to get to the Dome, road to the Dome, and show the success that you guys have had there as a program on that big stage to end the year come December. This year, we're much closer to home up there in Natchitoches, a different environment, and I think some pros and cons there. As I mentioned, it's close to you guys. It's not the same venue as going to play where the Saints play and all that, but what has been your mindset or your conversation with the kids and the community about what opportunity is there for a little bit something different to end the year?
Well, we love going to New Orleans, man. I mean, you can't that place will never get old. I mean, it is the dream of every Manny football player But once we found out we couldn't do that and have it there, I think there's no other place we'd rather play than right up the road in Northwestern. I mean, that's just 23 beautiful miles through God's country to Natchitoches, and we're excited for that. We play there, we scrimmaged there already this year in the stadium. We're familiar with it, so we kind of spun a positive out of it as we've had all year, to all these hurdles we've had to jump over, and we're excited about it. It gives our fan base the opportunity to be there. Sometimes people can't get off and get down to New Orleans. Now they can make that short trip. So, our kids were very supportive of that move. Our fans are excited about it. And you look at the ticket sales, I think it's going to be a great game to start the Classic.
So I don't know about you, Coach, but I am extremely superstitious. And if I were you, knowing that this game is, like you said, 23 miles up the road, is that kind of make you feel a little bit better knowing, you're playing for state championship so close to home?
Absolutely. Heck, the other day after practice, my crazy self, I just drove by the stadium, man, just to get a feel. I went to go, grab a bite to eat in Natchitoches, and man, I just drove by, man. I just can't wait, man. I finished up my schooling at Northwestern, so it's just, I just look at it as a blessing. Sometimes, the New Orleans schools get to sleep in their own bed and things like that a lot of times. And this time we're going to get to sleep in our own bed, and we're going to get to make that short trip. And again, we're excited. We know Northwestern's going to do a wonderful job of putting on a great Classic.
We have a viewer watching on Facebook, Lisa Melder, who says Kinder's coming. And I think that as well as anybody. These matchups were so much fun. And I think it was 13 and 14. And we talked before the playoffs about the potential that maybe that long-awaited rubber match could come into play because Brett had those guys kind of clicking at the right time. As you prepare for another matchup of what were some great games to be around just a few years ago, what stands out about what you need to do to have your guys ready to play a Brett Fuselier coach Kinder team that again is playing very well at the right time of year?
Yeah, we know what we're getting playing Kinder. I mean, we know that. We know what they're about. Our two programs are very similar. We've both been. This is both of my fourth trip to the Dome and Brett's fourth trip. That the programs have tremendous respect. Our fan base has a ton of respect for Kinder. I think both of us know what we're in for. We know we're in for a very good football game. One that's going to be played the right way. One that's going to come down probably to the fourth quarter. Who's going to make the last play, and that's all you can ask for as a coach or a program or a team or a fan base. We know what's in store, and I think they do as well.
What do you think this would mean to your seniors to go out on top with a state championship?
It would mean everything. This is a tremendous senior class, one that really I think was instrumental in us getting to the Dome last year. I felt like we were a year early last year getting there, but it was such a great job of this class, their leadership, and really in this year, this crazy 2020, we've needed leadership. And I think I told the kids the teams that would make it there and win it would be the teams that had talent and did the best job of navigating the hurdles that come our way. And this senior class has just done such a great job. I have tremendous talent there in that class, and I have tremendous role players, program players that are just bought in. And I would love to send them out, as a state champion. And the whole deal is it's right there on the table for us and Kinder, and it's 4 quarters of football for who wants it.
Coach, appreciate you. I'm used to you making the drive down our way this time of year. We're looking forward to making the drive up and seeing y'all in just a few days. And another familiar face, familiar name, Eric Liddy's watching and said good luck to the Tigers. His son Landry, who joined us on the bracket release show, obviously knows you guys, your nephew Tackett, and everybody very well down there. And so a lot of love from Eric down to Manny.
Absolutely. Those are Eric graduated Manny High School, as did his wife, so they're good people, and, proud of what Landry's done. And I bought myself a ticket to come watch that game. I'm going to make the drive up and watch my buddy Spat play. I'm going to watch a couple of games. I'm going to take advantage of it being in our backyard, but, good luck to Calvary and Landry as well.
Good deal, man. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach. Again, that was Jess Curtis getting ready for that two-way state championship game. Top-seeded Manny versus the 6-seed Kinder, we'll talk to Brett Fuselier shortly, but having another great year and setting up that that rematch of the 2013-2014 state championships. Another face that you'll recognize a little bit of from up in North Louisiana, some Shreveport roots.
What's going on?
Thomas Bachman down at Alexandria has those Trojans playing for a state championship. Coach, how's it feel to hear that, to be talking about playing for a state championship at the end of the year for Ash?
Yeah, been a long time coming. A lot of work put into it. Obviously proud, excited about the opportunity. I mean, that's what it is. A real big opportunity for us. Excited. Be honest, hadn't necessarily thought about it as this week or that week or state championship week. It's, we've just been preparing like we always do. And I know that, might sound hard to believe. Obviously, we talked to the boys about, what's in front of us and what's going on. But it's just been business as usual from week to week. And, you kind of get yourself in the office and around the coaches and, with the boys, get yourself isolated. You just do what you always do. So in that regard, you have to think, all right, hey, yeah, we really are. There's only two of us left. But there's only two of you in the stadium, from week to week as it is when you live in your own little world and you compartmentalize everything. So, yeah.
Coach, your program has progressed with you leading the way. Something that has never been done is playing for state championship already there for Ash. What does it mean to you personally to be on the big stage, which you've had, experience at as a player as well?
Well, it means a lot. It really does. I mean, we've got a great staff. And we knew this was a special community, and I say we, not me. I mean, it's been a lot of guys that have been here since the very beginning. We always felt like there was this potential. It's, it's getting your players and your community to believe, and create that expectation for themselves. I keep telling everybody I hadn't had time to really reflect because you are just in it. I have had taken a few moments, the experience of Friday night, just the crowd and the excitement and the energy that was in the place. If I could bottle it and sell it, I'd be a wealthy man in a matter of minutes. It just was so incredible. It makes you proud that you're able to produce a winner for a really good community. I mean, this is a great community. For people that don't know Alexandria and Central Louisiana, this has really turned into home for us. Really enjoy it. Our administration, the teachers in our school, just have a tremendous amount of respect for us. So to be able to get to this big stage, it makes us, all really proud of what we've been able to, to bring here, do some of these things for the first time. Sometimes that's the hardest one, doing it for the first time. Then that precedent and that expectation it's been set, and then it's there and you're hungry. Really proud and happy for our community, our school.
You mentioned sort of the meaning of doing things for the first time and kind of breaking through that barrier and getting over that hump. You guys got through West Monroe to get here, and really the road that you took to get here, to have to go through the teams we talked about just a couple weeks ago early in the playoffs, and then to come down to Zachary and have to face the Broncos, who are used to playing in these deep playoff matchups, and to get past a West Monroe. Now you face the reigning champions, Acadiana, the number 1 seed. How much do some of these successes in recent weeks and just what your team has been through help prepare you for what is always a lofty challenge in facing the Wrecking Rams, and just knowing that you belong on any field any given Friday or whatever day now?
Yeah, I think as a competitor, not that you can write a script. You play what's in front of you, how the bracket falls. It's the way the bracket falls, try and stress to our coaches and to our kids that, everybody gets the bracket every single year, and there's certain names that they look for, right? Like, oh, did we avoid this team? Did we avoid this team? Oh, we got a good draw. We got a chance. And, never really wanted to take that approach. You want to be one of those teams that people see the bracket and they hope they avoid you. They hope you're not in that. So to make this, to get to this point, to have played the people that we've had to play to get to this point, I think makes it that much more satisfying. And as a competitor, I keep saying, I don't know why you would want it any other way. To find out where you stack up at this time of year against the very best our state has to offer year after year, the established programs that have had success, been there, done that, proven. I think that you want it that way. And, not that, I don't mean any disrespect in the fact that, Acadiana, here we go. I'm glad if somebody's going to beat them, don't you want to be the one, right? I mean, they are what they've done over the past decade plus, whatever it is, but what they've done over the past few years is just so impressive. And we have a great opportunity in front of us, and that's the way that we're approaching it, and the way that we see it. And I think as competitors, our staff is very competitive. Our kids have bought into that and are very competitive. I think this is what the way they would want it. And, really looking forward to it.
Coach, we're looking forward to seeing you guys wrap up the high school football season on that Wednesday night. Alexandria versus Acadiana should be a fun way to wrap up those 4 days in Natchitoches. Appreciate you taking some time to talk about it.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me on.
Thanks.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks.
Now we flip the script kind of and go to Coach Jacardi Carter at Lafayette Christian, who at their level, everything that Coach Bachman was just saying about Acadiana and being that fantastic run and having an opportunity, I saw Jacardi kind of nodding at just some of the things that Coach Bachman was saying. Coach, you guys are the team that everyone in your bracket is chasing after 3 straight state championships. Congratulations on being back in a 4th. What is that like to have to hold serve in that position and now to have to do it against a team that you ended their year in a state championship just a year ago?
Yes, sir. Thank you. St. Charles is a really good team, a really good program. They got a great legendary coach and Coach Monica. I mean, they take all 3 phases of the game really seriously. You can't take a playoff, whether it be on offense, defense, or special teams against them. Just what it means. Coach from Ash, what's his name?
Thomas Bachman.
Coach Bachman. He said some really good stuff. Really about being competitive and wanting to compete against the best, with the best. He was hitting the nail on the head.
Is there added pressure knowing that you're going to face a team that y'all, took the title away essentially last year, and knowing that y'all are basically going to have another rematch with them?
Most definitely. We know that they'll come out a little bit more on fire. This year it'll be more of being the hunted than the hunters, because even last year we were 2-time state champs, but we were coming up from Division 4. And these teams are already pretty good. St. Charles was in Division 2, I want to say, and they moved down to Division 3 last year. So it's definitely going to be a different challenge being the hunted as opposed to the hunters.
Your seniors on this team, like a Sage Ryan, have been involved in state championship games throughout their high school career. That's when I first kind of took notice of Sage, was making huge plays as a freshman in that game against Ascension Catholic just a few years ago. And a friend of Chess and I, Seth Lewis, talked to you about the 4-for-4, like Wendy's, trying to complete that run for those guys. What has been kind of the way you've approached that conversation with them and trying to make sure that they, and no pun intended here because I just mentioned the Wendy's thing, but stay hungry and want to make sure that they are in the right focus and state of mind going into this last game of their high school careers?
First and foremost, Seth called me on a really good day. With that 4-for-4 comment, usually you don't get bulletin board stuff like that from me. But We've really embraced it. This team is really their approach. Like over the years, we kind of shied away from talking about a state championship until it was there. But this year, it's really been they haven't shied away from talking about it. I think it has made this group grow a little bit closer. And shoot, so we haven't talked about it like every week. We're going 4 for 4 like Wendy's every week. But it's more in terms of we had a goal at the beginning of the season, and now brick by brick we get to build our way back to it. So this group has seen like 3 different approaches to winning a state championship. In the first one, we lost our starting quarterback in Zach Clement, and Arrow took over. We had to kind of ride him and ride Logan Gabriel, play really good defense. The second year we went to it, it was like light show. Zach was back, and we scored 800 points on offense that year. We still had to play pretty good defense, but yeah, we were scoring a lot of points. And then last year with Arrow at quarterback, he manned that position. He owned that role. We were getting the ball to one of our better playmakers' hands on offense. And then playing good defense on the other end. And this year we have Ryan, who's a seasoned quarterback, ready to go. It's a totally different dynamic. We had no home games in this playoff stretch, so we had to go see Episcopal, who this was supposed to be. Not supposed to be. They had a dang good year this year. They made us fight until the last whistle. We got out of that one 14-12. Then we went on to see Newman, who's pretty good. They'll be good for a few years to come. Arch can throw. He can make every throw, and he's mobile, really mobile. 2 really good tall receivers outside and good slot receivers. They were a nice challenge for us going to New Orleans a couple of weeks ago.
With how crazy this season has been, winning the state championship, would it mean more to you guys?
Most definitely, it will. Just having so much uncertainty that we didn't even think we were going to have a season this year. But the guys, they still prepared. We worked out in groups of 10 with only position groups this year, which was kind of different. It was definitely a different dynamic. I feel like that made each individual position group closer together in bonding because we were holding each other accountable. There's only 10 of us in here. It's not like we were working out with the whole team. So that was different. And then having a season, even though it got started off late, having a tough test in Acadiana to start this season off, kind of just, it made for a good season. It showed us what we were made of at the beginning of the season, and then we had to continue to build on that from that day on.
Coach, I mentioned Sage, who LSU fans certainly know signed and is one of the top members of that signing class. We had a chance to see you guys this past Wednesday celebrating that big moment for him, as well as, for the whole program and community. He had to miss that Newman game, just kind of shaking back from a little injury from the Episcopal game. Is he going to be able to go for this, or can you share with us kind of the likelihood that y'all have him? And either way, how exciting is it to have seen those other young guys step up when they needed to be and know that they're ready either way?
Most definitely. I think he will be able to go. He's day to day. He's been getting some really good treatment, really good therapy. He looks pretty good to me, but I don't know how he feels. And I want him to play, but if he doesn't feel okay, I'd rather his career is going to be longer than this Monday night. So I'd rather him be healthy for the duration of his career than to come out and kind of risk it in the state championship. But I am definitely proud of the guys who stepped up. We have a few special kids, man. We have a lot of special kids, and they embraced the role. Like people weren't necessarily happy that Sage was out, but they embraced it. Like, oh dang, now I get to carry a little bit more of the load. I get a chance now. Like not necessarily get a chance, but there was more of an opportunity, and they seized that. So whether that be going in and playing nickelback on defense or getting more targets on the offensive end, it was nice to see guys step up.
And I know a couple of those fantastic juniors, Jordan Allen and Fitzgerald West Jr., talked about if Sage or any member of that team can't go, how important it was to them to make sure that they took care of that business and kept pushing things along and kind of picked him up a little bit, as well as how much he meant to them in terms of the way he was kind of another coach and cheerleader on the sideline, helping them out through a tough game that you guys had to really buckle down in the second half to hold on.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and that shows something to the type of leadership that Sage possesses. Like he wasn't in a shell. He wasn't all clammed up when he couldn't go. He was supportive. He was all in. He was cheering them on. He was the number one cheerleader on the sideline and encouraging and even coaching a little bit. Like it was just amazing to see him even own that role. Like we put him in a lot of situations. We put him in a lot of roles on offense, defense, special teams when it comes to football. But not only like he doesn't have to be the star to accomplish his role. Like he was still embracing the role of being a cheerleader, being a good teammate, a good friend, a good brother in the time of need.
Is Sage going to go down as one of, I don't want to say the most talented, but kind of just overall guy that you've coached, just leaving an impression there on your program and on you?
It's a very he's definitely special. He's definitely different. He's phenomenal athletically, but he's also a great student in the classroom. That's what's separate. That's a separating factor. And he's willing to work. Usually, you don't get your best players, hardest workers, not smartest in the classroom, but hardest workers. One of the smartest people in the classroom. Usually, that doesn't happen. That's not the norm. But he embraces the entire thing, mind, body, and soul, and he fully embraces. Like I feel like I'm different, and I'm gonna own up to it. I'm gonna be different. If there's no standard, I can set the standard. I can be that, and so that's an amazing feat to have. So young too.
Coach, I appreciate you. It's certainly been fun watching the program these last few years, watching Sage these last few years, and really all these guys coming up and you being able to jump in the mix and kind of put your stamp on it now, taking over that program and now an opportunity to play for another state championship. Appreciate you taking some time to talk about all of it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach. See you in Natchitoches.
Sir. Oh, night.
Yeah, they've been so much fun to watch the last few years. And, I mean, everyone that's had a chance to be a part of that program with Trev Falk and Coach Baldwin and now Jacardi's down there in Lafayette, back in his hometown. They just do such a phenomenal job. And they're as talented, certainly, as any team in the state at any level. But on any given Friday or now Monday or whatever day of the week they have to play in this 2020 season, they're ready to roll no matter who might be there or who might be sidelined. They just take care of business. They stay focused. They work hard, as Coach Carter mentioned. Get the job done.
It's impressive, especially to Lafayette has 4 teams in the championship.
Yep, we had a chance to talk to STM and LCA, and we've got Karen Crow and Acadiana coming in kind of the back half to talk about some of their success. Now they'll be playing for 5A and 4A state championships. And we'll hop over now from Lafayette all the way up to dang near Arkansas, up in Farmerville. Coach Spat, Joe Spatafora at the Union Parish, the Farmers playing for that 3A state championship that we had a chance to talk to Landry Williams from Madison Prep about that one. Now we get the other side of the conversation. Spat, good to see you, man. How are things going up your way?
Oh, good. Good to see you, too. Just looks like we just missed the rain, get done practice, so that's a good thing.
Coach, getting ready to face Madison Prep, a team that y'all are familiar with from a few years ago. How is the mentality of your team going into the state championship game?
It's the same as it's been all year. Just, take it 1 week at a time and make sure to finish. And to finish, we've got to win a state championship. So
I've got to ask you about Trey Holly, a guy that I every single week I wonder how more of South Louisiana hasn't taken notice of the type of sophomore season he's having as one of the key pieces of that rushing attack up there. He's over 2,600 yards in this shortened COVID season. At such a young age, what has been so special about him to help kind of lead the way and be such a huge weapon for your offense?
He's just such a structured and disciplined individual, even at his age, at only 16 years old. The guys, Trey's been trying to put the team on his back since he was in 8th grade. He's that kind of player to do what he can for his team, and he knows those O-line, that big O-line in front of him takes care of him and protects him, and he tries to go as hard for them as they do for him.
You guys beat Madison Prep last year in the quarterfinals. Does it mean that much more to face them in a championship game, knowing that y'all are essentially 1-0 over them?
Well, it's a totally different scenario. That was just to get out of the quarterfinals and get to a semifinal game, and this is for who's going to be number 1, 3 this year, because all the numbers and the power ratings and all that doesn't matter. They're good to give you home field advantage. So we used it for what it was worth and had a semifinal game at home. But now it's just they just happen to be the opponent we're facing, and their goal is the same as ours, to win a state championship.
You guys came down to New Orleans in 2013 and had that crazy game against Livonia that Desmond Turner, the sophomore running back at that point, scores the winning touchdown in overtime. This year, you'll be up in Natchitoches and the first time back in a few years since that one. What has it been like to have the program, have some great teams since then and kind of knock on the door, but now to finally break back through and be playing for another one, and for it to be in a little bit of a different venue too, up in y'all's half of the state, up in Natchitoches?
It's of course we'd love to be in the New Orleans Superdome, just like I'm sure everyone else has. But all season, one thing I've told these guys is, when we get the opportunity to play, we got to play, whether it be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It just happens to be on a Wednesday, but it's for the state championship. So it doesn't matter where the venue is. The opportunity's there, and we want to take advantage of it. And it's an exciting time. It is. It re-energized, I know, me and the coaching staff and all the players. And we've been going a long time this season. The practice started the same time as normally does, and it's just extended from there. So it's been a long season and a hard grind, but a lot of renewed energy this week after that semifinal win, knowing that we're playing for the state championship next week.
With how crazy 2020 has been, if you guys do win the state championship, would it mean that much more?
I think they only won one other time. It was a great feeling, and I know it's a stressful time of year anyway during football, when you're working hard and doing the things you're supposed to do and winning. And when you had COVID, you definitely added an unwanted stress that I don't think anybody has enjoyed. But it's adversity's part of life, and that's put through and just fighting harder and doing what you're supposed to do. And it's just another lesson for these young men to learn.
We talk about you guys and that rushing attack and being able to get behind that big offensive line and move the ball downfield. On the other side of the ball, you guys have to slow down Zion Chris, that talented quarterback from Madison Prep, and all the weapons he has around him. What's kind of the mindset on how to approach a team that can get the ball out into space to so many different possible weapons, and how do you kind of talk about that with your defense as you prepare for this last one?
We had some breakdowns last week defensively. There's no doubt about it. And those guys know what they have to do. They know they're facing another potent offense. And, I think Charles Prep prepared us, the best we need to be prepared, along with Ouachita's potent offense early in the season in Green Oak. So, we've seen this, and we've had a lot of athletes on the field. And then on the other side, we have a lot of athletes on the field on the defensive and the offensive side of the ball as well. It'll be a great challenge, but it'll be a fun one to get after it and see how it all works out.
Coach, appreciate you, man. And I wanted to send some love from Jess Curtis, who joined probably about a half an hour ago down in Manny, and said to make sure he sent some love to his buddy, Coach Spat, up in Farmerville.
That's right. We've been talking this morning already too. So yeah, I wish the best of luck to him and Brett. we're all three really good friends, and but I know they love playing each other, and it's no big deal. We'll just rag the one that's out of it when it's all said and done, for sure.
There you go. Thanks, Coach, and good luck to you guys continuing to get ready over these next few days, and see you up in Natchitoches.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, Coach.
Again, that's Coach Joe Spatafora up in Farmerville at Union Parish, getting ready for their first state championship game since 2013, playing that rematch of a game against Madison Prep that we've alluded to a couple of times. Another guy with some experience playing for a state championship, Michael Chernauskas, the safety at Catholic High. The Bears, we mentioned earlier when we were talking to Carson Bruno from Bird, playing for a fourth straight state championship. And Michael will probably have an opportunity to mess with me now again, that I did not predict them making this run. But once they got past Rummel, I need Michael to know that I have been predicting them to bring it home after realizing the error of my ways a few weeks back.
Yes, sir. I know Zach Boulay was letting you hear about it as well.
Yeah, Big Boulay I have spoken to him more since that Rummel game about that one thing than I ever had before in my life. He's making sure that I do not forget about my mistakes early in the Division I bracket.
Yes, sir. He's a special one.
Michael, I know I talked to you yesterday, but just what will this mean to you if you do go out winning a state championship?
I mean, yeah, it's just kind of every guy's dream when they go into high school. You want to go out on top. Obviously, every year, but especially your senior year, wanting to end in a win. So that's obviously the goal that we're going to try to accomplish on Sunday.
As one of the veterans that has as much experience as almost anyone or maybe anyone on this team, what has it been like for you to see some of these young guys, to see Daniel, who got thrown into the fire against Acadiana, see him progress, to see Shelton shake back from that groin injury late in the season and have the type of semifinal he had? How much fun has that been to see the sophomores and freshmen on this team step up, and how exciting is that from just a competitive standpoint to know how many weapons on each side of the ball that you take in with the veterans that are seniors and juniors like yourself, but also those younger classes coming along so early in their careers?
Yeah, it's been very special to watch those guys kind of progress throughout the season and settle into their roles on the team. And they definitely stepped up and played a major role for us. And since I've been on the team for a while, so I know the kind of challenges that presents coming in as a young guy and being expected to play and make plays. And I think all of those guys on the team have done a great job at that.
What is it going to take for you guys to get over that hump and not be a runner-up again this year?
Yeah, Coach Tita's been telling us the whole time the only team that can beat us is us. So if we all do our job and execute the way we've been coached to, we'll get out of here with a win.
People overlook that Bird team a lot because they're just up in that northwest corner of the state, and we're so used to in Division I talking about the old Catholic League in New Orleans, as well as you guys and the success that you have had in Baton Rouge. As you turned the page and started talking about preparing for Bird, how quality of an opponent is that team, obviously, and what has stood out about them in your preparation?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason they've made it to this point in the season and beat some of the teams that they have. So they're obviously a talented group. A bunch of big physical guys over there. Nothing we haven't seen before this year, so we're ready for the challenge. Run a veer on offense. So our defense has seen that as the third time this year already, so we'll be keyed up and ready to roll.
You guys face another run-heavy offense. What is kind of the mindset going into this one, knowing that they really like to hold the ball in the time of possession? They really kind of methodically go up and down the field.
Yeah, it's just kind of getting ready to go for a big dog fight. It's going to be a physical football game, a lot of downhill running, bunch of big collisions as well. So as a defensive guy, you got to love those kind of football games. Just a chance to be really physical and out-physical an opponent.
I've talked to your dad quite a bit about the way that Coach Harrison on the defensive side and obviously Gabe as the head coach and really that entire staff have prepared you and prepared all these other guys at a level that you don't always see from high school football players in terms of just kind of football IQ or understanding and diagnosing some aspects of the game. What is it like working with Coach Harrison and company as a young player, as you're continuing to kind of fine-tune your game and learn more about the schematic side of things? What has that been like for you these past few years? And how prepared do you feel like heading to college after this one and going off to Army?
Yeah, Coach Harrison's definitely the GOAT. Kind of been an unbelievable guy to play under these last 4 years. And definitely all the success of our defense comes from him. Yeah, we go out there and make all the plays, but he puts in countless hours getting us ready game plan wise, fundamentally. And I've talked to Finucane as well as Jonathan Medier from a couple years ago about how Catholic has got them ready for college, and they said they've been more prepared than any of the other incoming freshmen on their team. So
This year, the state championship is in Natchitoches. Is it going to mean a little bit more to you to win it, knowing what y'all have battled through so far this season?
Yeah, I would say so, just because getting to this point in the season, early on we didn't know what the season was going to look like with all the COVID things going on. So definitely battling to this point in the year has been a challenge for everybody in the state of Louisiana. But since we've made it to this point, definitely ready to go.
Michael, appreciate you, man, and obviously looking forward to seeing you guys up in Natchitoches. I know we both are, and good luck with it. I'm sure if you take care of business, I'll hear about it pretty quickly from you and Boulay and the guys.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I heard about it very hard after that Rummel game.
You deserve it.
I do, but you're not going to pick them all right.
Very true.
I certainly have had my miscues through the years, and that was a big one that I was very torn on that quarterfinal game and had a feeling that whoever won it was going to be the favorite, and a heck of a job by Catholic to be that team and get the best of that state championship rematch against Rummel. And now here they are playing for a state championship against a really quality Bird team that I think, as we mentioned at the start of the show, is going to be a fantastic matchup on the first night of this 4 days of high school football up in Natchitoches.
Absolutely.
We've talked an awful lot about Refuge so far here because Jess Curtis was so excited for the much anticipated rubber match between Manny and Kinder, and then Coach Spat joined us and talked about the friendship between a lot of these coaches, the 2A and 3A level. Coach, how's it feel to be back in a state championship game and you get to look across the field and see a coach and a program that you're awful familiar with from some of those battles just a few years back?
Yeah, man, no doubt. Man, it feels good to be back. It's been a while. So, me and Jess always talked about this, Kinder Manny 3, and finally we get it, man. And, it feels good just to be back in a championship game. And I'll be honest with you, this year is a little bit something more for me personally because I'm actually going to have a daughter cheering in it also. So a little bit something extra there.
That's awesome, Coach. Going into this, obviously you want to win a state championship, but then you'll have some bragging rights. Does that excite you?
Oh man, me and Jess, like you said before, we are good friends, and we like to poke fun at each other. So we always and you're right. Me and Spat always remind her that 2013, whenever we won it, but then Jess returned the favor the next year. But no, man, I mean, it's nice, man. I'm just happy for the kids, happy for our coaches, and for the community to get back over here. They're excited.
What has this season been like for you guys? It was such a weird off season and so much uncertainty starting out, and to finally get to the football field. And with everything that happened, not just with COVID, but with the storms, you end up with some new guys at your school that have to kind of find their new home and find their rhythm, and everybody become one team kind of last minute after every bit of uncertainty and adversity that had led up to that point. How has that process gone for you guys of navigating so many challenges, overcoming so many hurdles, and getting everybody on the same page and ready to play their part, whatever part that may be, to reach this level of success?
Yeah, no doubt. You go in off season workouts into the summer workouts, and you don't know. You saw what just happened to the baseball team, and they had their season canceled. So there's a lot of uncertainty going through. We just had to remind our kids at workouts, hey, look, just trust in it. They're doing what they can. They're telling us we're going to have a season. So it was hard on the kids at some points. Because it at some points it didn't look very very promising. But we just kept our nose to the grindstone and just let them know that, hey, look, they're trying their best and we're going to trust it. That it is what it is and it is what we have to do. And finally we got the call, and they made that call on a Friday morning. I'll never forget. And they said that, hey, we're going to have a season this year. And so our kids were excited. I was getting texts across my phone from all the kids because they were hearing from social media and things like that, and then we get into it, and then you're right, Laura hits, and we had a little bit of damage from that in our community, and we have some kids on our team now that they ended up moving to Kinder because of some damage that they had at their homes in Lake Charles, and those kids were all the kids that came, they were very humble, and they knew, and my deal to them is we just wanted to see them have a place to play football, and they were getting their education here, and our kids on our team and the community here at Kinder were very welcoming of those kids, and it's been a really neat process. We got to meet some new people and some great kids, and I think on both ends, the kids that moved here from the Storm and our kids that were welcoming. It's been a great experience for everybody involved.
What have you learned from your team and what they've overcome this season?
Man, all you have to do is look at the last couple games, the last 3 games, and the resiliency of this group here. That and we had that talk before the playoffs started because it had been a long time since we played a close game. And I didn't know how we'd respond in that situation. And and they've proven to me that they're able to overcome obstacles, and they just have that no quit attitude. They're never out of it. And you go back 3 games ago against the Voyles. I mean, things looked grim for us in the fourth quarter there, and our guys just made plays and just refused to lose. And that's the whole thing with this group. That's kind of been our MO, just find a way to make it happen.
You guys, as a program and as a community, have had so much fun when you've had the opportunity to make that run to New Orleans and play in the Dome where the Saints play under the big lights, on the carpet, all those things. You'll head the opposite direction this year and go up to Turpin Stadium in Natchitoches and play. What is the outlook for how many folks from Kinder are going to be able to come up there for that? It's obviously a much different year just in terms of how many people can go to a game on a given Friday or any night. What is the excitement of the community going to look like, and how many folks can we expect up there in black and gold?
Okay. I'm sorry, Jared. I missed the first part of your question. I was having some audio problems here, but can you repeat that?
Sure. You guys have always had such excitement to be able to go down to New Orleans and play in the Dome where the Saints play and all of that, both as a program and as an entire community. And this year you'll head the opposite direction up to Natchitoches and play at Northwestern State. With all of the challenges this year in terms of how many folks can attend and whatnot, what has been the excitement level around the school and the community about being back at this point and it ending in kind of a different way, going to a different stadium and knowing that there will be some restrictions in place? What can we kind of expect just in terms of energy and crowd support and whoever can make that trip?
Yeah, and our people are excited. There's no doubt. Don't get me wrong. Go and play in the Superdome is something special. You get to play where Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints play. That the kids you grow up and you dream of that experience. And I'd be lying if I say there wasn't a slight bit of disappointment with that. But the focus here is a state championship. So no matter where you play it, it's an exciting time. Our kids are excited about it. They want to play. It's like I told them, you're playing to prove that you're the best at what you do in the state of Louisiana, which says a lot. And our kids are excited about it. Our community is excited about it. I think you're going to see the same excitement from the fans. There are some restrictions. We may not have as many people maybe if we were playing in a different year, but the excitement is still there. The excitement around town is still there, just like it was in the other 3 years that we did go to the state championship game. So the excitement's there, and we're going to see it's going to be a really good atmosphere.
Coach, we're certainly looking forward to it. Looking forward to Manny and Kinder number 3.
Hey, so are we, man. So are we, man. We have nothing but respect for Manny and their program over there. But we're excited over here in Kinder.
Good deal. Well, Coach, good luck with these last few days of preparation, and we'll see you up there in Natchitoches.
All right, Jarrett. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Coach. Again, that's Coach Brett Fuselier from Kinder. Have had their successes certainly through the years, and now an opportunity to get the much anticipated rubber match with Manny up in more that half of the state, I guess, the west half, and very close to Manny. And we've got a few Lafayette folks trying to chime in. I know Coach Corville at Karen Crow scheduled to join us here in about 10 minutes, and he's been clicking around and trying to get his connection right. And we've seen Ian Montz from Acadiana hop in and hop out and kind of mix things up here at the last minute. We'll go ahead and jump to Cade Klink, the offensive lineman from Oak Grove, though, who was scheduled to be right after Ian, and we'll see if we can get Ian back here in a second. Cade, how are things up in the northeast corner of the state, man?
It's going pretty good. It's a beautiful day.
There you go. You guys back in a state championship game after that fantastic run last year, a dominant performance to cap it off against White Castle, and now you have, rather than being in the Superdome, you'll head to Natchitoches, and the opponent this year will be Grand Lake, who makes its first appearance. As you guys return to a state championship game, but do it in a new venue and do it in this weird year where we're playing after Christmas and all those things, and you're playing a new opponent, what have been some of the conversations for you guys up there at Oak Grove about just kind of how to handle all these different moving pieces throughout really this year, but even as the playoffs got started and some things moving around?
I mean, we could do what we couldn't do. So we had to keep workout small. We could only have 20 people at a time. But we had every group coming in and do it when they needed to do. And we just stayed focused and locked in. And I just wanted to say that I'm really proud of my team coming off a state championship. It's hard to repeat. We've never done it in school history, but we've stayed locked in. I didn't think we were going to be as hungry this year, but we really are, and we're ready to put a stamp on this season. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
There we go. Just little mic problems. What would it mean to you to go back to back and essentially hang 2 banners for your school?
It mean a lot. Like I said, it's something that's never been done in school history, and that's what we've been talking about all postseason, being the best team that Oak Grove's ever seen, and being possibly the best team that 1A's ever seen this year.
As an offensive lineman for a program like Oak Grove that has always, in its tradition, taken such pride in the way you guys handle things in the trenches, and you guys have some fantastic athletes up there that when you give them a little bit of space, they can certainly go a long way. Take me through some of the enjoyment of playing your position and kind of setting that stage, and particularly when you get to this point in a season and you're in these battles come semifinals or state championship games, just the excitement for you guys, the less heralded position group to be able to do the dirty work up front and make things happen.
We take a lot of pride in it, and we know that we're not going to get a lot of spotlight, but just like the coaches, keep patting us on our backs, and just like this, letting Coach Gregory giving me the opportunity and y'all giving me the opportunity to speak right now means a lot. But we take a lot of pride in it because whenever you're you're a star running back, probably 1A MVP, he's not getting touched 5 yards down the line. It means a lot, but just seeing your running back cross the end zone untouched, it doesn't get any better than that.
So playing for a state title there in Natchitoches, being closer to you as opposed to New Orleans, how is this trip going to be for you as opposed to what it was last year?
I'm not gonna lie. We've been thinking about it all week. It was our last time playing in the Superdome. Kind of took it for granted. Wish I would have like soaked every minute in a little bit because nothing's like walking on that carpet. But I'm looking forward to playing in Northwestern. That's one more field that we get to play in that we've never played on before, and I'm really excited to have this opportunity in such a beautiful city.
How much have you heard from some guys like Bert and Keenan and company that were big parts of these teams in past years that I don't know if they'll have a chance to be there in person. I don't know if the schedule and whatnot works out, but certainly they'll have their eyes on this game one way or another. What's kind of been the message from some of those Tigers past as now your senior class has an opportunity to kind of keep building upon that tradition you've built there?
Well, we have a big group chat. We're all up in it, and we keep in touch a lot. Joshua Moat. He's at Tech right now. He's actually in New Orleans, and they're getting ready to play. They're playing right now, aren't they? Georgia.
Yeah,
Georgia Southern.
They're
playing
right now. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Keenan came home last week. He was at all the practices. Well, not last week, but over Thanksgiving break, he came home, and we keep in touch with all them, and it's great to have those people that have laid the foundation for you, so we can go and we can finish this job and we can go back to back after they've done all the groundwork and they've really made this program what it was.
Coach Vic Dalrymple from that program years ago was, I think, the first coach that told me about basically you're excited to play or you're excited to practice in Thanksgiving week, and that means you're playing in a quarterfinal. This year, you guys are practicing Christmas week to try to play for a state championship. What has that been like just to kind of navigate the holiday spirit versus the excitement to take care of business this one last game and not focus too much on Santa because you got Grand Lake ahead?
Well, I mean, it's hard. Like today I had to get all my Christmas presents wrapped before 10 o'clock practice this morning. But I mean, it's exciting. You have all your family in the area, and they're gonna be able to, like, my dad's off working, but since it's Christmas break, he gets to come home and watch my game. He hasn't been to many of my games this year, but it's great because the more people, the better. I mean, we're a 1A school, so we're not gonna have 4,000 people come to our game. So anybody that wants to come can come to our game, and it's not gonna be sold out. So there's nothing to worry about. But we're really excited. Never got to play on Christmas before.
Cade, I certainly appreciate you, man. You did a great job talking about your Tigers and getting ready for another state championship opportunity. I appreciate Coach Gregory sending you our way to talk about just kind of some of the meaning of navigating this weird year and having an opportunity to go out on top again potentially. And looking forward to seeing you up in Natchitoches.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Again, that's Cade Klink, offensive lineman from Oak Grove, the reigning 1A state champions that will be facing Grand Lake. And I think we've got Coach Corville now at Karen Crow figured out and ready to chat about his Bears opportunity in this 4A state championship game against Carr. Coach, you look good, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on your show.
Here you
go. I mentioned you guys have, I think, what will probably be one of the most anticipated matchups of the week, this slugfest between you guys who have made the state take notice from very early on, going up to West Monroe and shutting those Rebels out up in their home field.
Right.
All the way through these playoffs. You guys score 81 in a quarterfinal against Plaquemine. You guys take care of business the next week with a huge victory against perennial power Neville and get back to your first state championship game as a program in almost a decade.
Right.
And you face Carr. Now, the prize is you get the 4-time state champions. What is that like preparing for that matchup, knowing the type of success you guys have had, but knowing the type of success that opponent has had too to get to this point?
Well, a lot of people have told me, said, Coach, y'all, we scrimmaged Rummel, and we had a good job handling them pretty well. Then we had West Monroe, and then obviously last week, they said, would you think you would have beaten West Monroe and Neville in the same year and not won a state championship? It's kind of, but with that said, it's a tribute to my coaches and these players. We started on June 9th, like everybody else did, and stood in front of the kids and said, we're going to have to get ready to play. And they were like, Coach, are we going to really play? I was like, in back, deep in my mind, I knew I wanted us to play, but I couldn't really be honest with him. I said, but we're going to be ready when the time comes, and we've been able to navigate all this craziness all year long, and it's been a fun ride.
Coach, with everything that you guys have been through this year, winning a state championship, what would that mean to you?
Oh, it'd be awesome. It would be the crowning jewel for what this team has done. I said this previously, that I really love being around this team and have this extra week to be with them and to work for the opportunity to play for a state championship is golden.
You guys have such a great senior class this year, and I know I've had a chance to know Bailey Despani through the years.
Mm-hmm.
John Miller, I think, is one of the best offensive linemen in the state. Kendra Williams, I think, is probably one of the more underrated running backs. Folks know him. Obviously, he's committed to go play for the Cajuns at the next level, but I think he's right up there in that mix that we talk about some of the best running backs in the state as seniors.
Mm-hmm.
When did you realize that this group could have this type of a run in them, whether it be some point in the offseason where you knew this year could be special, or seeing these guys coming for years leading up to this point?
Well, that's a great question. I'll tell you what, I know exactly when. It was the Monday after we lost to Warren Easton in the quarterfinals. I stood in front of the group along with the coaching staff, and I felt, we knew we were going to have about 18 coming back on both sides of the ball. So I said, if I stand in front of you next year at the same time, we're going to fail. Would be a failure. So from that point on, we started with this our motto for the year is called Protect the Team. And all that means is being accountable in all phases of your life and with the football team. And we started off like gangbusters in January in the off-season program until March 13th when everything kind of shut down. But even then, once we had the shutdown, the senior leadership took over, and they were doing things on their own. They were filming themselves and sending us back. We were sending them workouts, via a Remind app or a Huddle, and they just took off with it. And it was so when we got back in June, like I said earlier, we wasn't behind, so to speak, but it was because of this leadership throughout that time we were apart that kept us together.
Coach, what is it going to take from your guys to essentially slay the beast and bring home a state championship?
You're talking about David and Goliath right here, aren't you? But listen, we're gonna have to play one of our best games ever. We're gonna have. There's no secret to what we do on offense. That we try to control the ball. We talk about it playing defense with our offense, keeping opponents' offense off the field with our long, time-consuming, double-digit plays. Keep them off the field. Defensively, we're going to have to play our best game ever. And I've been proud of this defense. It's gotten better week to week, so we're going to have to really improve to have a chance. They got tremendous, as y'all well know, they got tremendous athletes on both sides of the ball. Big offensive line, big defensive line. So we're going to have to play one of our best games ever.
Those guys at Carr have gotten so used to playing in the Superdome at the end of the year that it's become kind of a second home to them in December usually. And I'm sure you guys would love to have that opportunity to play in the Superdome, but playing in a different stadium than what we're used to at this point in the year, going up to Natchitoches, is that possibly beneficial to you guys to kind of even some of that playing field, knowing that Carr has been to the Dome year in and year out, and now you guys are all going to kind of a new place to face one another to battle this one out?
We've discussed that, and obviously, we'd like that to happen, but I think that there's such a well-established, well-coached program that I have a hard time feeling that's going to be a big difference maker. I'm sure it's going to be a little distraction to them because they're not spending the night in their own at home, and basically it is a home game for them. But I think it's so much of a well-established blue blood program that I hope it does, but I don't know if it will.
Coach, how do you keep those emotions in check for a game like this and a game that obviously your team wants so badly to win?
That's a good question. I get emotional every day. Right now, I'm getting emotional talking to you. It's about these kids and getting them another chance to play. That's what it was all about at the beginning of the year. The way it worked out for us to get West Monroe was because I had lost, everybody lost their first two games. Then our next 3 and 4 were going to be Calcasieu Parish schools. So, and obviously with the Hurricanes we weren't going to be able to play. So it was at the beginning was just to try to find games for them to play because I wanted the seniors to have as many games as they could. So, long story short, this is another opportunity. I mean, obviously, it's a football game, and like Coach Terry said today, there's 2 words in front of it: state championship game. So it makes it yes. The kids are grounded. They're focused, and they're looking forward to the challenge.
Coach, what do these next few days look like for you guys now as you manage the excitement of Christmas and celebrating the holidays and spending some time with family versus preparing for this huge game to cap off what has already been such a fantastic season?
Well, we have practice tomorrow, and Turner's Catholic has graciously offers us the use of their turf, so we're going to use the turf tomorrow morning. And I'm giving them Christmas off and Saturday because some of our coaches and our players are traveling, and then we'll come back on Sunday afternoon in practice, and then we'll have our Monday morning practice, which will be our Thursday practice, and then I'll bring them in around 11 o'clock on Tuesday, and we'll do a pregame meal. Check our equipment, get on the bus, and head on out 2 hours north to Natchitoches.
We're looking forward to seeing you there, Coach. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat about it on the front end.
Thank you very much. It was, like I said, it's a pleasure to be with y'all, and I'm glad I was able to get on.
Good luck, Coach.
I think there was a running bet with my coaching staff that I wouldn't be able to do it. So, thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach. See you in Natchitoches.
All right.
Yeah, Coach yesterday mentioned make sure to check in on him. You may need an IT tutorial with it, but
I understand.
Shout out to the StreamYard app for being fairly user friendly, I think, and to Coach Corville for making sure he got it done, giving us the opportunity to chat some about his Bears as they get ready for that 1 versus 2 matchup, Karen Crow versus Edna Carr.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Just like you said, Carr has been so dominant, and so to see somebody, Karen Crow, I really hope that they do give them that battle, and it's just there's so much good football about to happen in Natchitoches. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I talked about on 104.5 this morning that it's difficult to bet against Carr right now until you see it happen, sort of thing, the way Curtis was for years and some of those other programs. But that I think right now, the way Karen Crow's playing, if there was an opportunity for a team to match up with them and have some success and end that run, Karen Crow looks as capable of doing that as anyone could be. And so there's an awful lot of intrigue in that 4A state championship game between these two teams. As I mentioned earlier, I think it was when we were talking to Destin from Carr, Karen Crow's outscored folks 172 to 28 in 3 games, which is an absurd number. And so as good as Carr has been, Karen Crow's going in this thing not scared of anyone because of some of those matchups that Coach Corville mentioned in terms of getting ready for the season against a Rummel and going up to West Monroe and showing what they could do against the Rebels.
And you asked him if it was going to be beneficial that they're playing at Northwestern as opposed to the Dome, and I think it is a bit of an advantage for them because I don't feel like Karen Crow's eyes are going to be nearly as big as they would going into the Dome. So, yeah, I think it'll definitely – my only concern is on Wednesday. The weather looks like it might potentially rain, which could directly impact that Madison Prep game because they like to throw it around the yard. So we'll see kind of how the weather plays out. That's my only concern.
Yeah, I think the Dome can be such a huge advantage to teams that have been there before. And so shifting it outside and playing in a college stadium neutralizes some of that advantage from some of those returning teams. And the weather can always be such a great neutralizer. And you mentioned when it looks like we'll be okay for most of that week or next week, but the tail end, we might catch some rain, and it'll be interesting to see how that affects some explosiveness from some of those teams on the offensive side of the ball, or a little slip here, a little slip there, and somebody breaks contain and is gone. Either way, though, as we mentioned at the beginning, we have 9 state championship games to look forward to, something that even a few weeks ago we didn't know that we could take for granted, and certainly a few months ago we didn't know. So I'm just excited for some more high school football, holiday time, and kind of put a bow on this thing and turn the page to 2021, which hopefully, knock on wood, fingers crossed, all those things, is less of a bizarre year, and we're talking about fewer of those obstacles and just the football piece.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually going to head up to Shreveport and go see my mom and my family for Christmas. I don't typically get holidays off being in broadcast and media, so to have a few days off and then just be an hour away from Natchitoches. It's kind of convenient for me. I know a lot of people aren't happy about it, but I'll take the convenience. And high school football, I can't complain.
That's what I've had to remind all these kids and coaches down here who are frustrated with not being able to just go to New Orleans, especially the New Orleans guys. I mean, grew up in New Orleans. We don't want to leave the city ever. And so they have to go figure out where Natchitoches is on the map and then get up there and go play some football. But there's a whole half of the state that this is a really cool opportunity for them, as we talked about with Carson from Bird or with Coach Curtis from Manny, the opportunity to play so close to home and what that means. And it makes things super easy for you
super easy
this holiday.
Yeah, 'cause growing up, being from Shreveport-Bossier, my birthday always fell the weekend of the state championship. So we always went down to the Dome because at that time I was at Evangel. So that was it was a cool experience, but we've never had an experience like this. The state championship's never been played at Northwestern. So just kind of flip script. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be exciting. I think the crowds will be there, and I think they will be over the moon that we are playing in a state championship regardless of the venue.
No doubt about it. Well, I certainly appreciate you taking some time to chat, and thanks to your mom for giving you those extra couple hours before you have to hit the road, and we can kind of wrap this up and let you get up there so she can
spoil me. All the eggnog.
she can get out of the text messages and start cheersing to the holiday spirit.
Exactly. So I'm excited. Thank you for having me. Love talking ball with you. I'll see you in Natchitoches next.
See you in Natchitoches. Again, she's Chessa Boucher from Baton Rouge Proud, BR Proud. It's been a pleasure having you join for the bracket release show and now the state championship show, and looking forward to seeing you at Northwestern State for a few state championship games.
It's going to be fun. I'm ready for all the shootouts, all the everything. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen, and I'm pumped.
Thanks again to Chessa, and thanks to all the coaches and players who took a few minutes out of this crazy week to talk about their excitement to play for a state championship game and what their mindsets are going into this thing. Thanks to everyone for watching, everyone commenting. We mentioned Lisa and Eric Liddy, and Kevin Porsche is in there, and David Maryland Jr. with the shout out to Chernouskas as Captain America, as they lovingly call Michael over there at Catholic High, and look forward to seeing all you guys from Natchitoches.